There's lots of things you can do to change your brain, and this course is going to teach you how to do it. This course is for anyone who wants to improve their mental health or functioning without medication. The techniques taught here can help people with anxiety, depression, and other forms of mental illness, but it's also helpful for people who just want to live a happier or healthier life. What I'm going to teach in this course are simple changes, but many of them can have a big impact on your health and happiness, and they've been shown to change your brain's structure, chemistry, and function. What I'm teaching in this course is research-based. It's backed up by multiple peer-reviewed scientific studies. The information I'm teaching is not like voodoo medicine or all-natural homeopathic healing. This is information that the mainstream scientific community has found to improve mental health, but most people just don't know about it. When it comes to a mental health diagnosis, we need to talk a little bit about what that means. When you go to the doctor and you have symptoms like vomiting or diarrhea or body aches and chills, and the doctor sees you and runs a test and diagnoses you as having the flu, what they're saying is that the influenza virus is what's causing your symptoms. And so when you get a diagnosis and they say you have the flu, they're telling you this is what's causing your problem. When you have a mental health diagnosis, on the other hand, you'll have symptoms like sadness, low energy, frequent crying spells, or feeling hopeless or suicidal. And if you went to your doctor, he would give you a diagnosis like depression. But what's different about mental health diagnoses is that when they say you have depression, they're not telling you anything about the cause of your symptoms. They're telling you this cluster of symptoms, we in the scientific community call it depression, but we don't know what causes it. And in this course, you're going to see that some people, their depression is caused by a nutrient deficiency or by a lack of sleep. Unfortunately, when many people hear a diagnosis like depression, they assume that what the doctor is saying is, you are defective, or you are broken. Or what they've learned from the kind of medication commercials that they've seen on TV is that you have a chemical imbalance and the only way to treat it is through a chemical like a medication. And research really doesn't back that up. We don't know what causes depression. We know a lot of things that contribute to depression, and we don't know what causes your depression or your anxiety. So it might be genetic, it might be biological, it might be chemical, it might be an experience you've had or behavior that you are acting on. So please don't automatically assume that you're stuck feeling this way forever. That is just not the case. And that's not what a mental health diagnosis really means. And what I'd like for people to know is that a mental health diagnosis does not mean you have this or you are this. It means that you're experiencing this. That doesn't mean it's not real. It is real. And most of the people I work with are doing everything they can to try and make things better, but nothing's working. So it's not laziness, it's not a moral failure, but it doesn't mean that it's who you are. So if you have a mental health diagnosis, please don't give up to just coping with it or feeling miserable for the rest of your life. There's so much that can be done to resolve the symptoms and sometimes the cause of mental illness. So stick with me to learn some of the ways to do this. It's certainly not helpful to blame yourself or beat yourself up for feeling the way that you're feeling. So I'm certainly not suggesting that you're bad or you're doing it wrong if you're feeling depressed or anxious or having other problems in your life. What I am saying is that let's take a step back and just say, is there something you can do that's going to improve your life? Some predispositions like temperament are a natural and innate part of us, and we just don't know how to manage them in the right way. But the disorder, the impact that your feelings are having on your life, much of those symptoms can be resolved or greatly reduced. So let's talk about what causes mental illness. There's two extremes. One side says it's all biological, a completely medical view. And the other side says that this is all about choice. This is a weakness or a moral failing or even a sin. Now, the truth is a lot more complicated than either of those options. Ever since scientists discovered that brain chemistry impacts depression, people have been assuming that brain chemistry is causing depression, those emotions and thoughts. But now, new research and new imaging technology is showing us that how we think and how we feel also impacts our brain chemistry. Mental illness is real, but is not necessarily permanent. Moods, behaviors, and thoughts do show up in our biology, and people who are experiencing mental illness can't just think their way out of it or get over it. I mean, that's just not helpful, and it doesn't work. But for many people, mental illness can be completely resolved, and for others, the symptoms can be greatly reduced. So please don't resign yourself to just giving up to feeling miserable for the rest of your life. In this course, I'm presenting 10 alternatives to medication for improving your mental health, but I'm not against medication. I've actually recommended to many of my clients that they consult with a doctor to find out what are the medication options for them. And medication can be a helpful stepping stone to improving your mental health to the point where perhaps you don't need them again in the future. However, many people are, uncomfortable with the idea of taking medication, and here's some reasons why. People are concerned about side effects, including weight gain, sexual problems, and increased suicidality. They worry about becoming dependent or not knowing what is them and what's the medication. Taking medication comes with uncertainty of not knowing how it's going to affect you. And the expense and time that it takes to find the right medication can be a roller coaster that lasts for months or years. Everything in this course is compatible with taking medication, so there's no reason why you can't do both. Take medication and learn new skills or techniques that improve your mental health. So this course is going to walk you through 10 things you can do to build a solid foundation of mental health, to improve your mood, be happier and healthier, and have better relationships. So I'm excited to walk with you on this journey. Let's jump in.